When I got the job, my parents were incredibly proud because I had made it. I had made it. To them, the career, like having status and a title, was everything. And working in this publishing, this giant, this giant was huge. I worked for this editor-in-chief of a magazine, and I was very excited because this was finally going to be my time to shine as a writer. I was going to be able to write some pieces and perhaps get published for the first time. And I was working for a white woman that was demeaning and demoralizing and racist. And I was never going to write for her. I was never going to be good enough or smart enough or white enough to write for her. And I actually left that, I actually quit. I actually had a moment where this idea of a dream where you feel like you've made it comes with a lot of cost. You know, oftentimes you feel like you can just be who you are and you can walk in these spaces and your talent be enough and your education be enough. And you're in these spaces where you're told not even your qualifications are enough because you will never be us. And so for me, the American dream began to get chipped at with certain opportunities, with certain experiences, with certain bosses. I started to really learn how deep, I mean, I've always known that there are race issues. Like that is not a new thing. Like racism for me it's always been black or white. There wasn't even Latino. When I grew up, there was no check mark box to check, are you Hispanic? I was born in the 70s. That came later. You were either black or you were white. And so I knew very early on that I was black. And so in these predominantly white spaces, like publishing is, it's dominated by not just a white space, but also men space, right? Dominated by men, the publishing industry is. I started to see that I needed to create spaces of my own. Like, I don't know that I have an American dream. I mean, for me, I think it's a Dominican dream. It's a woman of color dream. It's a lesbian's dream. It's a single mom's dream, you know? I don't know that I have an American dream because, you know, I'm someone who has lived in this America for a long time, and I can't say that, you know, I'm happy with the way I see how we're living. You know, I want to live in the Dominican Republic. I feel like, you know, for me, my American dream has shifted. It's like, how can I go back to where my parents are from and give back? Because what I've learned here is that I'm not welcomed, I'm not wanted, and we're constantly fighting. I mean, you're all savvy, tech savvy, so you know what's going on in the news. This conversation is not a new conversation. You know about racism. I mean, you may not know what it feels like because many of you are fair-skinned and many of you, whether you know it or not, walk in the world with privilege, right? I walk in the world every single day as una dominicana, una mujer, lesbiana, escritora. That's a whole nother subject, right? Because writing isn't even taken seriously. You know, that's not a real job. And so I think I have a lot of experiences like that, you know, where I have been made to feel less than, and I have had to create my own space and create my own way, my own path. Like I don't work for anyone, right? I work for myself. I'm a full-time writer. I'm a full-time artist. And I teach writing right now to senior citizens. I just had a class. My students are elders, and I work at a middle school and a high school. And I teach them, you know, we write personal essays and we write memoir. I have created a life for myself so that I don't have to have experiences like the ones that I've had. Thank you. Thank you.
Uh,
Hi, Yabu. Happy birthday!
I wanted to ask, what like was the inspiration like through literature for the book? Yes, for your book and your film.
Well,
Yeah, both. Talked about the 9/11. No, like inspirations in literature. Like, okay. Oh.
so
Like right.
I have to credit La Doctora Gordon Chapambari for introducing me to women of color authors, Caribbean writers. So I don't know that you know this, but your teacher, your profesora, was my professor at NYU. I'm her student. She's my mentor. So I was first introduced to Isabel